Let's not confuse simple with or conflate it with less than. Our software is extremely complex and it built for massive scale. I mean, we had over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, 10 trillion data queries, 1.1 trillion edge requests. Like, we make the complex things simple, and that's way more difficult than just allowing that complexity to be passed on to our customers.
Hello and welcome to the Retail Podcast. Now, today's brand and guest is someone, well, you may not know Bobby specifically, but you've definitely heard the company that he works for. And what I'd really like to do today with Bobby, and in a minute we'll go over across to Bobby, is get underneath, if you like, the hood of Shopify and understand what is because there was a release last month. We all heard about the new updates. And I know we have a lot of listeners on the podcast who are with Shopify agencies or have Shopify consultants or are thinking about, I'm launching a new product and I'm an established brand and I want a platform that I can host that on. But before we get to that, let's introduce Bobby Morrison, Shopify CRO. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Alex.
It's an absolute pleasure. Where in the world are you?
I am in very hot Dallas, Texas this time of year.
Everyone knows Shopify, right? I'd be surprised anyone on the planet that doesn't know Shopify. But maybe, I believe Shopify seems to always be reinventing itself from e-commerce to now physical stores. Could you sort of give us a positioning on the modern Shopify stack? What is and who is Shopify?
Yeah, first, we stand, I think our message in market's pretty consistent. We're the retail operating system behind some of your favorite brands. That operating system is made up of three key pillars. We have an e-commerce pillar, which I think most of your listeners are familiar with. But we also have a wholesale offering and a retail offering. And one of the things that we focus very hard on is just making sure that our underlying primitives are consistent across those journeys. So when you're in a retail store and have an experience in store, it should feel like the Shopify that you have when you're purchasing online. And so our focus has been on making commerce better for everyone. And commerce isn't just e-commerce, it's commerce wherever commerce happens to occur. So all the one-click checkouts that we've built into the social networks that are out there that people have tapped into and turned into new channels for them and routes to market, or whether it's online or in your brick and mortar retail location, we believe a unified experience is the right experience for customers, ones that they're familiar with. And we leverage the scale of the company to help inform not only what we've built in the past, but obviously what we're going to build in the future. So we had 875 million buyers on the network last year that purchased from Shopify. So that kind of breadth across 175 countries around the world gives us a unique insight into consumer buying behavior. And we take that insight and really break it down to what are the core problems or friction points or changes that we see in customer buying. And then we build those insights into the software to make sure that we're caring for that as we go forward. So we tend to be a bit opinionated on where commerce is going. And at the end of the day, as we go into this new world of all things AI, we think commerce is going to go through a massive transformation in how people decide to purchase and how they go through the consideration process. And we think we have a very, very strong point of view of what that looks like. And we're building that into our software.
So one of the things I've heard said a few times at conferences is this path to purchase online. And you mentioned social. It's becoming a little bit more complex. People are having to go via multiple digital touch points before they get to the transaction, and where they transact is actually changing a little bit. And AI is having an impact on that. And then post-purchase in terms of how, and I was on a panel last week, eTail London or eTail Europe, all four brands were on Shopify, which was just quite funny. When I said, I'm curious, what platforms do you all sit on? And they all said, yeah, we're all on Shopify, and we had beauty, we had fast fashion. But we were talking about post-purchase. What do you do post-purchase? So I'll give you a choice in terms of the sort of pre-purchase or post-purchase. I'm curious, what are some of the trends you're seeing, or some of the areas where Shopify may have not focused on in the past and is now focusing on a little bit more now?
Yeah, I think, and this is both an internal trend, what we see in our own marketing, and what we hear from our customers. Obviously, search has gone through a radical transformation. And while it's still early days, it's no longer the keyword in the box, it's the end of a prompt. And we're seeing the emergence quarter on quarter of more and more AI-enabled searches that are getting deep query into product catalogs, using third parties for quality validation, affiliate, which I think a lot of marketing firms probably have stepped away from in many ways over the past few years, I think is reemerging because the AI engines are going out using third parties to validate quality, not your internal product scoring system. So like that's probably the one I hear about the most. My marketing is being disrupted. Consideration is moving into the AI engines, and it's not too hard to think about a future where commerce will start to happen at that edge as well. So I think those are the things that really stand out right now. And so that helps inform how we think about enabling commerce for the next generation. Probably, not too dissimilar from the pattern, Alex, that we saw back when social became more mainstream for direct purchases. Once TikTok Shop came in and, Instagram and Facebook allowed for direct purchase, we realized very, very quickly that that's where commerce is happening, and we need to make sure that we enable it, and let's be the first to get there. And we've had a pattern of doing that over and over again.
And Shopify integrates to both platforms, the Meta and TikTok Shop, right?
Correct.
So just another theme, just sticking with the AI theme, I'm curious on your opinion. It may not have a direct impact on Shopify, but one of the themes that we're seeing is what you've mentioned. Companies such as Perplexity, where people search for that dress, circumventing the Shopify or the e-commerce store and taking you directly to the product, which in my mind sort of means there's a new model. We need a new model for e-commerce, like dark stores in physical world, where marketing teams, and I guess this is what you're saying, have spent millions of pounds on these beautifully created websites that the AI is just circumventing and going to the product, which I think, like in the old days, like Alexa voice, all of that data sits with Perplexity, not the retailer. Do you have any thoughts on that? Is there any, I don't know, are there any solutions? Is there any things that retailers can do?
Yeah, first, I think the product catalogs and the checkout still happens within the domain of the retailer. It may not come through the front door landing pages, and the customer journey may be different. But I think most retailers would say, as long as you're landing on my properties and choosing my products, that's a great thing. And so I don't have a crystal ball on this one. I think we're all learning our way through how customers are using different AI engines. Perplexity is one of them. Obviously there are others. And I think as we go forward, we're staying close to how customers are changing the way they're purchasing, where we can definitely see how they're changing their search criteria. And so it's not hard to think too far out into the future where that search criteria will then end up being a transaction. But you're always looking for trust. I know when I go to pick one of your favorite brands, Gymshark.com. When I land on Gymshark, I know that I am talking to Gymshark. The product is Gymshark's product that's endorsed by Gymshark, and I'm getting ready to purchase that item. And I have an experience that's consistent with the last time that I was at Gymshark. Whether I was in the store and hit the purple button when I checked out, or whether I was online, Gymshark knew me end to end. Now, the future, this is a Bobby statement, maybe not a Shopify statement, is in my mind, the different AI wrappers and engines that sit on top that are driving some of the search consideration could also be one of those endpoints. And so the real question for companies like Shopify and maybe some of the others in the space is, how are they going to enable a direct relationship from their customers in an AI engine? And I think we have a point of view of what that looks like, and we'll see where that goes here in the not so distant future.
A lot of these brands start tiny and then grow to become these global powerhouses. where do you see the future of, you mentioned the three areas that Shopify operates in, but what's the profile of a Shopify customer or the future customer of Shopify?
It has changed wildly, Alex. Right? Our core DNA, obviously, is an entrepreneurs, and we have a deep passion for making things easy for those who have an idea and want to bring it to market. I think it's actually, when I first came to Shopify, I was wondering, is that a bug for servicing enterprise or a feature? And I think what we're realizing, especially in macroeconomic times like today, where you never know what the marketplace is going to demand, whether it's geopolitical instability or whether it's macroeconomic tariffs that are moving in and out, it seems like every other week, speed and agility matter, ease of use matters. And so when you design for the entrepreneur, you have to take things that are extremely complex and make them simple.
Yep.
When you design for the enterprise, what most have done is you take things that are extremely complex and you hand it over to the enterprise who has resources to customize it and try to make it simple. What Shopify has done is taken that administrivia out of servicing the enterprise market. And we're seeing a lot of your favorite brands, like you just mentioned, the last engagement, you had all 4 out of 4 were on Shopify.
Yeah.
There's been a big shift in the marketplace. So our core business, we stand on the shoulders of the entrepreneurs that we have brought onto the platform, and we watch them grow and help them grow at accelerated rates. But we also go to the mid-market and to the enterprise to make sure that we're servicing those customers. And all of that was born out of companies like the Gymsharks of the world, who started off small and grew. Alo Yoga, Wolby Binders, the list goes on. The list goes on and on. But now, once you have those on the platform, you realize that you're now enabling them differently. And there may be others that are looking for similar feature functionality across the enterprise. And so now over 50% of our business is all upmarket. And not a lot of people know that. And it makes up
upmarket like luxury?
Upmarket meaning the size and maturity of the business.
Got you.
And if you look across that, I think people would traditionally think of Shopify as fashion, apparel, health and beauty. And we do those things extremely well. And we're going to continue to lean into those customers and make sure we're providing them with a great experience. But we've now also seen automotive, a big 3 automotive manufacturer in North America is on Shopify. We've seen large consumer electronics and software services come on to Shopify. We've seen food and beverage become a category for Shopify. We've even seen things in education that have come on to Shopify. And it's not just e-commerce. We're seeing more and more of that unified experience. So there's a customer of ours in North America that runs the retail stores for universities, campuses across the states, roughly 1,000 locations. All 1,000 of those locations, those brick and mortar locations, run on Shopify. Now, we also help support them in their e-commerce world, but their core business is actually face-to-face interaction with students walking in to get their books, to get their sponsored gear from their university. And so the diversity of the Shopify customer base is extremely broad, and it keeps getting wider every day as we build new features, as we build new capabilities. Those types of customers that we service has been expanding, and we expect that to continue.
What is it that people get wrong, or when they're looking to come to Shopify? What are some of those sort of things that they just, I don't know, through time you've seen, they're just thinking about it in the wrong way?
Yeah, I'll take it. That's what an amazing question, by the way. I'll take it back to what I said earlier, but maybe unpack it a little bit. I think, and by the way, I fell into this trap as well. I remember sitting in a meeting and I had a conversation. I was in like one of our key senior leadership meetings, and I had mentioned simple, the word simple, over and over again. And I got corrected by Toby, actually. Let's not confuse simple with, or conflate it with less than. Simple, our software is extremely complex and it built for massive scale. I mean, we had over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, 10 trillion data queries, 1.1 trillion edge requests, just over a 3-day period. Like, we make the complex things simple, and that's way more difficult than just allowing that complexity to be passed on to our customers. So I think one of the things people think about when they think about Shopify is, oh, they're the entrepreneur company. We are, but don't take that as I'm not ready for enterprise. Take that and say, they have now taken the legacy, old school, old software mentality that is traditional enterprise and made it easy for me to be able to deploy and operate. We have brands, Alex, on Shopify that have come to us with upwards of 400 technical resources, keeping the lights on of their legacy custom platform, or maybe some of those that are operated by our competitors.
Yeah.
When we move them to Shopify, they've been able to run that same core platform with a third of the people, sometimes even a tenth of those people. Now, it doesn't mean that those resources go away. It means they get to go work on the fun stuff that they always wanted to work on versus the keep the lights on kind of work that was happening before. And I think this is the pattern of behavior that we see in the market. Each one of our retailers wants to build new and dynamic experiences, both for their employees and for their customers. But they're caught in the keep the lights on tech debt that has them handcuffed and doesn't give them the resources they need to be able to build. We help customers do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got personal experience, and I'm ex-Microsoft, so I've had some horror stories of people trying to.
I have ex-Microsoft as well, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I can definitely see, the allure of a Shopify, because it does go into ERP and some of the other CRM systems that enterprises or mid-sized enterprises. If you don't have 5,000 developers on call, how do you create a modern
and so like right now, Alex, this is why it matters, because when you have a change that comes in, most people operate their commerce platforms on some sort of a schedule. Generally, it's looking out over a 6 to 9 month period. They have a milestone moment of drop dead, no touches heading into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And then all of a sudden, a change in economic policy comes out of the middle of nowhere, and everyone has to scramble to figure out, do they have the right supply chain? Are they compliant? Are they applying the VAT tax or whatever it may be appropriately? Are the tariffs all set up in a line? And will that sustain for just 2 weeks, or is that going to be in perpetuity? And what customers are now realizing is that the legacy systems and platforms that they've been running on for 20 years aren't actually helping them win. They're holding them hostage. And so this is where our partners who have deep domain expertise, it's the lasers, the domains, the mazes, our GSI partners, Accenture, Deloitte, and others, like coming alongside of our customers and showing them there's a better way. And we've built migration tools to make that move that was probably very painful when you did it 15, 20 years ago. We've made it a lot easier today to flip the switch and get to a platform that is anti-fragile and will actually scale with you when you need it to scale. So like now is one of those times where these systems, this kind of legacy view of enterprise SaaS, is really being stress tested.
Coming towards the end of our conversation, a couple of quick fire questions. Obviously, as I mentioned, a lot of listeners are already on Shopify. What's the one thing that they should do that they've not done because they've been on Shopify for a long time and maybe they've not? I'm just curious, is there that one thing that you see people haven't done?
Yeah, I don't know if there's one single thing that stands out, but I can tell you the pattern of behavior that our best brands, those that are growing the fastest, typically do. One, they have a trusted partner that they're working with. If you don't have someone that's sitting with you side by side, helping you innovate and design and think about the future, leveraging their experience across other brands that may be in your industry or across the market, that's normally a miss. I would deeply encourage everyone to get connected to a partner who understands all things Shopify. They are behind the scenes. They know our roadmaps, and they can help you design for the future. Number two is we have an amazing customer success team. I love our customer success team. It is one of our superpowers inside of Shopify. And at their fingertips, they have access to tools that can help you think about your business and make strategic decisions. Like, what are the patterns and what are we seeing and how are people solving for AI-driven search versus traditional search? Like, we can come in as trusted third parties. We have no skin in the game in what search engine you use on your website. You can use Algolia, you can use Bloomreach, you can use whoever you choose to use. But we may have an opinion or a set of data that might be helpful for you as you decide how to optimize that experience for your customers. And we can share with you feedback on what's working, what's not working. And I would tell you the third thing, and this is maybe the the best one. Shopify has launched something called Sidekick. If you are not using Sidekick today, don't think it's an AI. It's an AI agent that's embedded in the admin that's available to you. That agent capabilities are going to infinitely scale as AI continues to get better over time. And so we don't believe in boxing in and building a particular product around AI capability today. That walled garden we think is overly restrictive. What we are doing is casting a sail. I wrote something about this on LinkedIn just recently from a commercial perspective. We do the same thing on the product side. And so as you move from, Anthropic 3.7 to 4.0 Opus to whatever's next, the engine's going to continue to get better. And it is doing wonderful things right now, helping merchants make great decisions. So I would just encourage your listeners, if you are on Shopify and you haven't used Sidekick, get it, pull it up, use it regularly, and just know it will grow and innovate at the speed of AI innovation, which we all know is a runaway train right now, and that's a good thing.
Final question. It might be a bit of an odd question. What's the one question I should have asked you, but I didn't?
Oh my gosh. I think you probably see it on my face. What's it like to work at Shopify? What's it like to be in this company that's wildly disruptive? And how does that manifest with your partners and customers? Like, it's a great question. I'm glad you brought it up. I love this place. There's something special.
How long have you been there? Just quickly.
I've been at Shopify for 3 years. I was at Intuit.
Microsoft, I was curious.
Intuit for 3 years, Microsoft for 3 years, telco for a very long time. And I've worked with some great leaders. I got a chance to see Satya in action, and just his obsession around customer and bringing customers into meetings, and his curiosity is real. Growth mindset is not a tagline. It's a reality.
Yep.
I watched Sasan and how he operates, and he's a masterful operator. But I got to tell you, founder-led is just different. And the purity of purpose in our mission of making commerce better for everyone is not a cliche. It is deeply rooted in everything that we do as a company. And it's so inspiring to have not just the permission, but the mandate to do the unorthodox but true. To intentionally break the mainstream way of thinking of classical, old school, we use the language, corpo businesses, and reinvent the way not only commerce runs, but how companies operate. And I tell you, it's a great place to work. If you're a builder, it's a great place to work. If you're an operator, we're probably not the right place for you. And I think our partners pick up that energy. It's exothermic in the way that they show up on behalf of the customers and on behalf of Shopify with our customers. And we just love having great conversations with our customers, helping them succeed. I mean, there's nothing better than a model where we succeed alongside our customer success. It's not a usage consumption model like the hyperscalers. It's not a subscription seat model that tends to lock people in. Many of the brands, when I was in Shop Talk Barcelona, are really struggling with this fixed construct of cost regardless of the macro environment. And now they're looking to switch. At Shopify, our monetization models line up exactly with our customers' aspirations, which is to help them grow. And it's a well-oiled machine focused on a common mission, with a great leader who arguably is one of the best technologists of our time at the helm, guiding the product roadmap, while myself and my team are building the go-to-market engine that aligns and takes advantage of that product roadmap and brings it to life in the market.
I saw that you've got a new level of partners. I need to caveat this. What are the level of partners that you now have? Because I saw somewhere on LinkedIn, one of the agencies saying we are now an enterprise Shopify partner. Is that a new grade that you've brought out?
Yeah, that sounds a little creative marketing, maybe a little bit. We have certification levels inside of Shopify. I like to think of our partners as servicing all of our customers. Some of them have domain expertise up market with our largest enterprises. Some of them are working with some of our mid-market customers. All of them are extremely valuable. I think we have one of the strongest partner ecosystems on the planet. We certainly have the most mission-driven partner ecosystem on the planet. And I think that shows up in the conversations we have with customers. But you're not wrong in that the type of partner that's on Shopify today is very different than what it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's not the one, as I was saying, you know, the one man band.
It's not
your agencies now.
We have deep exclusive partners that have been with Shopify that know us inside and out, that are still with us and are growing and are succeeding, and we're deeply invested in their success. But we also have, you know, great GSIs. Vic and the Song team over at Accenture, we have great partnerships. Deloitte, we have great partnerships. EY, Brian and team, we have great partnerships. We have systems integrators, which is brand new for Shopify over the last 3 years. So the Astounds of the world, the Mazes of the world, the new partners who used to be exclusive shops with our competitors are making the move to Shopify. You know why though, Alex? It's because their customers are moving.
Yeah.
Like I shared this data point back at Investor Day at the end of 23. Customers, we look at imports versus exports, those customers that are coming to Shopify versus those that are leaving and going to the competition. We were winning 38-1 in October, that number of 23. That number at the end of 24 increased to 42, 41. I can't remember the number, one of those two, 41-1. Like that, if you're a partner and you see this exodus happening in your base from this company that you've been with for the last decade plus, now moving to Shopify, you realize, hey, I probably need to build a Shopify practice and be the hero of that story versus losing out. And so we've done a lot there. And we have a couple announcements we'll make later on this quarter with another type of partner that's giving us scale and reach into, you know, the hundreds of thousands of resellers that will give us breadth down market and help take both our retail offering to market as well as our e-commerce offering. But we have a very high bar for our partners. We require them to be deep domain experts on our platform. We require them to have high EQ and understanding of our customers' businesses. And we show up side by side. It's almost 70% of our business when we have a conversation with any of our clients that are considering coming to Shopify is with a partner in the room because we believe deeply in that co-sell motion and making sure that we're helping them get connected.
Yeah, I can't imagine coming to Shopify alone. So I definitely, I think it's an important relationship.
It is.
Well, you know, I can carry on asking you so many questions, but I have to be conscious of time. Thank you so much. I look forward to hopefully meeting you at one of these events. Maybe not in the UK, but
we will make it happen.
Events
Alex, we will make it happen.
Wonderful, Bobby. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.